What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the NBA Slate Starter Podcast. I'm Eric, joined with my buddy Ryan as we break down Monday's 8-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo. I don't screw up these reads at the beginning very often because I've done it, 200 times. We've probably done 200 episodes of this podcast at this point in time in the last 2+ years, or close to 2 years, I suppose. But you know what? I still make mistakes, is what we learned here. One of those mistakes might be having a little bit less Steven Adams than what I should, but we will find out. As long as Joker beats him, I got a pretty good shot at some good stuff here, which is a stupid thing that I just had to say that out loud. But Steven Adams completely balling here in the early going. Pokashevsky, if you didn't late swap onto some Boucher, I hope you get punished. Because that is, the slate starter's boy. That's kind of a recap of everything going on. We are not anywhere close. We're an hour and a half away from that Clippers-Knicks game, which doesn't have a ton in it for me. Maybe Ryan will correct me, but Ryan, how's your day going?
Yeah, we'll see. A long ways to go in the slate. A ton of late night hammers, especially on FanDuel. A guy like Reggie Jackson's there.
That's true.
Alec Burks, even Julius Randle, I think, is in a good spot to produce. So we'll see. A long ways to go. But yeah, I was pretty heavy on Toronto. We'll see how that ends up going. But a long ways to go. I hope Siakam starts to heat things up as he gets going here in the second quarter. Pretty bullish on him today, but we'll see how this slate ends up going. Go Raps, is what I'm saying.
Go Raptors. Dude, they were so difficult to figure out what to do. On FanDuel, you play a lot of them because they were much cheaper. On DK, I had no idea. It was very, very strange. And Siakam, kind of a product of me just trying to get to a lot of Jokic on a value slate. But now, Pelicans, as well as they've been playing 4-game winning streak, they are down 17 with 2.5 minutes left in the first quarter against Denver. Denver just putting their foot down here. It's early. That's the best thing I can possibly say about that outcome, because I repeat, I need Joker to smash. Same time, go smash that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. How about that for a segue? Also, if you leave 5-star reviews over on Spotify, Apple, that would make Ryan very happy. And I like his smile. He has a very photogenic smile. And we want to see that. Look at those pearly whites, baby. Once upon a time, I was a young buck like you, looking fly, living my life. Now I'm just a married guy with a dog that throws up in my car. But you know what? We've got an 8-game slate to get to. Yeah, welcome to my life, Ryan. We've got an 8th game to get to. I'm excited about this slate. I think it could be very value-laden. We have a lot of Spurs news to wait on. Let's get to it. You ready to get going, my awesome Nike-dwelling friend?
Let's ride.
Love the hat. Makes me think of Tiger. Makes me think of the Masters, which I will be attending in April this season. It's going to be a fun month of April for me. Might try to check out an NCAA tournament while I'm at it too. Let's go to the top end. We've got Luka 12-2. He had his toe. His toe hurts. He didn't play today. We'll see if he plays on this back-to-back. He's probable. I think he's good to go. Basically a glorified rest day there for him. James Harden as well. Glorified rest day with that hamstring. He's good to go again tomorrow, 11-4. Both of them very expensive, but come on, we know their upside, especially Utah playing a little bit more up in pace lately. James Harden against Chicago, they always play up in pace. Now we get to the Spurs that I kind of mentioned as this slate began, or as this show began, should I say, before we got to the analysis. DeJounte Murray, questionable. Devin Vassell, questionable. Bates Diop, questionable. I guess when you get DeJounte Murray off, everybody else becomes extremely enticing. Plus, Jakob Poeltl's been playing well, 7,900 for him. We'll get to the center spot a little bit later. Obviously, would have some interest there if there's going to be no Murray against the Lakers. But I think we got to be very, very careful, because if DeJounte Murray does play here in this spot, you might have to be waiting a long time to figure out exactly what to do with it. That game locks at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's the same time as Luka, I suppose, so you could probably shift some of those shares over. But considering James Harden locks at the top end at 7 p.m. Eastern time, a lot of your lineup spots that, I've been playing a lot of Harden. If I do that again, I'll miss out on a super low-owned DeJounte Murray, which would be awesome. Talk to me about your strategy of late swap tomorrow in an 8-gamer, where you basically have a flowing schedule, games going all the way up until 10:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, Spurs are going to be enticing. The Warriors are going to be enticing. Portland's going to be very enticing itself. Those are the 3 value spots. Key guys out there are obviously the big 3 in Golden State are out. Anthony Simons is out in Portland, as is Justice Winslow and I believe Josh Hart as well. I got to make sure on Josh Hart. But Spurs news could be pretty massive as well. So it's going to be very interesting. I think Josh Hart is going to play tomorrow. So Portland's going to be very fun to roster, but just going up top on DK, Luka should be fine to jam in. 12-2 is expensive in a Utah spot. Raw points is going to obviously dictates any slate, but Luka can definitely carry those there. James Harden triple-double upside. You got to love it at 11-4. Trae Young 10-2. Definitely a fine consideration against this Detroit team. A 3-point bonus for him can pan out. De'Aaron Fox up to 9,300 now. He's definitely been playing really good basketball. Trying to see, it's pretty much March, April. De'Aaron Fox, as we saw last year, played himself up to the 10K price tag. Maybe he's doing the same yet again this season. He's expensive. I think I'd rather save a little bit of money, fall on a 9K Mitchell against Dallas on the other side of things. If Anthony Edwards is doubtful, I think we can go to D'Angelo Russell against Portland on a home and home between these two teams. $8,200, $8,100 Russ. I think the Russ experiment. I don't think we need to aggressively get there anymore. It seems pretty evident what his role is. It seems like 32 minutes tops usually. Potential benching is always on the table for him against the San Antonio team. Jordan Poole is 5,300. Is going to be very popular tomorrow, rightfully so. Moses Moody on the same team, $3,200 if you're looking for some other value. Malik Beasley was disappointing after he got a double ejection, double tech, and then he got ejected. $4,300 Beasley makes a lot of sense to fall on. Brandon Williams, $3,800 is all right. I think he's going to be very popular, but keep in mind, in no entry Simons, he might draw the start there. Eli Hughes, 3K, also might start for this Portland team.
Yeah, don't forget about Keon Johnson as well. They're 3,900. We got to roster a lot of these Portland guys. We're going to just roster them in spades. Ben McLemore, you know the deal. These guys are all in play. Plus, Elijah Hughes is probable to come back. Shooting guard, small forward eligible over on DK. So all of that is going to be very, very popular. Once again, if you get no DeJounte Murray, which, this is going to be the injury spot where we're waiting on a lot of these questionable tags, Trey Jones, 3,500. That would be Yahtzee for sure. Let's head on over to the FanDuel spot here, top end point guard. Luka, 10-7, most expensive guy there. James Harden, shooting guard, small forward, 10-4 over on the FanDuel slate. Trae Young and DeJounte, both sub 10K there, 9,900, 9,700 there. Trae Young being the cheaper one, that would be great. But DeJounte Murray, if you have to wait on that questionable news, that would be awesome because you could get him low owned and that would be a lot of fun. Sub 10K over on this site. De'Aaron Fox, not a great matchup here in New York, but he's been playing really well from a fantasy perspective. 26 and 44 real points, over 47 fantasy points here. A lot of ways that this could go really well here for him against just a decrepit New York team that will be playing on a back-to-back. That's always enticing. And Donovan Mitchell, back-to-back slates here. Dallas, they're the slowest team in the NBA. They've been playing really good defense, but it's Donovan Mitchell, sub 9K. I expect Mike Conley to be back, but there is still upside at that tag. What sticks out to you over on FanDuel, Ryan?
Yeah, looking over there on FanDuel, it's going to be a lot of similar guys because of just the value of what's presented with some teams that are going to be shorthanded. Some teams are just throwing the game just because of schedule purposes. Luka 10-7 is cheap. James Harden 10-4 is very cheap for their upsides. Trae Young 9,700. FanDuel's just, these guys are all discounted by 10-15% than what they should be. De'Aaron Fox now appropriately priced. I really like Donovan Mitchell, $8,600. Makes a lot of sense to fall there. For the upside, he contains D'Angelo Russell, Zach LaVine, similar price range. I prefer Russell to LaVine just because of the lack of Anthony Edwards there. Next tier guys here, Cade Cunningham, 7,300. I'll still be rostering. He won't be very popular at this elevated price tag, but I still will be riding this price tag up a little bit. Going all the way down, Jordan Poole, sub 5K. I like a lot at $4,700. Malik Beasley, 3,600, makes a ton of sense if there's no Pat Bev. I think he's fine even if Pat Bev plays at that cheap price tag. He's been shooting the ball exceptionally well from three at this moment. I posted All-Star break, actually. As gross as it might sound, the New York guys are considerable options in Burks and Fournier, $5,200 and $4,800. Dante DiVincenzo had sparks of playing well. Their coach said they like his role off the bench. With the roll off the bench, he might get extra usage without potentially not sharing the court less with guys like Fox and Sabonis. So that's an interesting option to consider as well. The Golden State guards and guys like Damian Lee, maybe even Moses Moody, are guys you can consider as well. Value galore. You can play anyone you really want, honestly. So just just pinpointing the value that will like 6, 7, 8x their salary will be pretty much the key to the slate. If you get that value right, you're gonna win tomorrow, and that's the tough part to do because there's such good value. So it's just concentrated ownership, rightfully so in these guys.
I think you need to have the most fantasy points out of everybody in a contest. I think that's the key to tomorrow.
That's the key to every slate.
I was making a joke. I was doing the John Madden because the way you said that before, it's like you want to play the value that does well as opposed to the value that does poorly. I'm like, checks out, 100% confirmed. This is why Rayen is one of the best players in the world. I will say that. There's no question about it. I loved it so much. To the top end of guard over on Yahoo, Luka 56, James Harden 50, DeJounte Murray 50, Trae Young 43. As you said before, I mean, we just have so many freebies that exist on this slate, and you just definitely start Golden State. Jordan Poole at least is inflated to $24. He's still a smash, I think. You're just no Andrew Wiggins, no Clay, no Steph. It's just going to be a lot of those guys. You have a $10 Damian Lee. You have a $10 number of these dudes that you could take shots on. So we're going to get to some more of them at other positions from Golden State as well. Just so many places that we can go here, Rayen. Jordan Clarkson, I suppose. But not with Mike Conley back. That's just a pass. And he's just god-awful tonight. There's no question about that. Keon Johnson, there we go. $11. Portland against Minnesota. Malik Beasley, $11. Both of them stick out. There are just so many places to go. Where do you want to spend your money on Yahoo, Rayen?
So many places. You can go up, you can go down. It's just anywhere. But I like the $50 for Harden. 56 for Lucas seems expensive, and Harden's for 50. Russ is down to $26. I think you can play him there at 26. As gross as it might sound, but the bottom tier is absolutely loaded. There's a potential Trey Jones, Keon Johnson's kind of already in there. Lonnie Walker, $13 seems great. $11 Beasley, $11 DiVincenzo. All these guys seem like awesome plays down at Yahoo. In the mid tier, there's even some other guys to consider. I think you can definitely consider a $12 Ellaby for the minutes he's playing. Jalen Green is playing much better. He's 20, but I'd rather spend up $4 more for Jordan Poole just because of the volume he's going to get. D'Angelo Russell's $30. I like a lot. Prefer him to Cade Cunningham, but it's a awesome slate just for nice value. And there might be even more value that opens up throughout the night.
That's crazy to think about. But you know what else? Something that will open up tomorrow is your opportunity as new users to play at Yahoo, the best site that you possibly can per dollar. And here's why. Lowest rake out of any major site, period. And what does that mean? It means that the rake 16%, 17% of your entry fees are getting taken out of the pool before it even begins. It's only around 12% or less over on Yahoo, meaning that you get more opportunity to make money with the money that you put into DFS. So they have this great $6K up top, $12 that they offer for days like tomorrow. They have great multi-entry GPPs. There's even a quarter that you can enter 135 lineups. So if you're playing on DK, instead of just a 20 max for your quarter, you can literally make 135 lineups that are all a quarter each. And it's $100 to first with a good payout structure, 4,500 entries. If you're trying to make money as you get your feet wet in multi-entry, this is the way to do it. Playing over at Yahoo, where that rake is only 12% for this contest. So no matter whether you're, somebody playing massive allotment of volume or all the way down playing some quarters and 50-cent tournaments, the best place to do it is Yahoo, bar none. Check them out. Plus, you'll get that free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum with no extra money that goes into it. You just deposit $10, you play in any paid contest, and you have the opportunity to play at the best site in DFS with the best projections, the best tools in the boom bust tool, and everything else that we offer for NBA. So stop guessing and start winning. Join us here at Awesemo, but do it through this Yahoo promotion. That went longer than I expected, but you know what? It was nice because I had a different idea, and it was like, the quarters, like legitimately, I might even be playing that because you know what? If you can enter the contest, it is not anybody's fault that you end up winning such contests, and that's what I'm hoping to do, except for when I win a free roll from the Slate Starter podcast. That's not what I was anticipating doing. That was bad. Well, let's go to the forward spot over here. It's like the last GPP I want, I think. LeBron James coming off of a ridiculous game. 54 fantasy points, 56 real points, 77 fantasy points. I've been playing crazy amounts of this dude, waiting for it to happen. And man, did it happen against Golden State. It was really fun to watch. You knew that was going to be happening. Absent Anthony Davis eventually. Now, what will his popularity be on the road in San Antonio? That is waiting to see. But I'm telling you, this is what I expect this of LeBron James going forward. I expect him to do things that just blow your mind, even at an old age. His 19th season or whatever he's at in the league this season. You're going to see some massive upside from him because they need to get into the playoffs and need to start winning games. And this is how they're going to do it. It's just riding LeBron. So 11-6, I love him being able to play a spend up at small forward. DeMar DeRozan, 9,700, huge discount down, but gets that Philly matchup, which, I say that full well knowing that recently there's been some big games going up against Philly. Hashtag James Harden defense. Hashtag not great. Julius Randle, 9,500 on a back-to-back with Sacramento. That's always enticing. Lots of spots here at the top of power forward that we might be wanting to take some shots on. But specifically, there's going to be value galore. And maybe this is where we want to go down and punt in order to pay up for some guards because there's just a lot of them that I want to get to. Luka Harden, DeJounte Murray, if he's going to be unowned. What sticks out to you here at the forward spot on DraftKings, Ryan?
Yeah, LeBron James at 11-6. LeBron needs to enter his, zero dark 30 mode or something. He needs to enter it a little bit early this season. 11-6 makes a ton of sense against San Antonio. There's enough value to jam him in there. Julius Randle, $9,500 Randle. Prefer him to DeRozan, honestly. I think Randle's turning things up. He needs to carry this Knicks team somehow into the play-in game. They almost have no shot, but 8,500 Jimmy Butler taking on a Houston team. It's against Houston. Anyone can get there against Houston. 8K RJ Barrett's too expensive for my liking. Looking down a little bit lower. Josh Hart 7,400 is definitely in play. He might just chuck the ball 25, 30 times against Minnesota. Josh Hart's definitely an option to go to. The Detroit guys, the trio of Sadiq Bey, Grant, and Cade Cunningham, all priced appropriately now. Against Atlanta, one of those guys can definitely get there. We'll see which one it is. It's tough to pinpoint at their price tag. I think just going with the cheapest option in Jeremy Grant would be the best way to go, honestly. 6,500. Grant has 40-point upside when given the appropriate minutes to do so. Going down a little bit lower here, it's not as appealing, but I think if you want to go all the way down to the guys in Golden State, Otto Porter, Jonathan Kuminga, make a ton of sense. Kuminga and Porter just auditioning for minutes as Draymond Green is set to return in about a week or so. I like those guys. I know it's a tough Denver team, tough Denver environment as well. I think falling on one of those guys, no issues. Outside of here, if Greg Brown were to play, he's all right. I'm not sure if he's going to go, but the Minnesota guys, Jared Vanderbilt, 4,800. If both Beverly and Edwards are out, I think he's fine. I think he's already okay at $4,800. It's a decent spot to go to. We touched on, also Damian Lee. We touched on earlier. He's also has forward eligibility here.
Yeah, I think Jared Vanderbilt, he takes just such a huge spike in minutes if you get Anthony Edwards out and Patrick Beverly out. So it's kind of like a two-man tandem there. They ended up running, obviously Malik Beasley got ejected. That's going to help your minutes too a little bit there. I know that they started alongside each other, but just you need 5 guys on the floor. Power of deduction there. Jalen Noel maybe takes a slight dip down. Jordan McLaughlin played a lot more minutes, 21 there as well. So Noel, 21, Beasley, 21, but he got ejected. 24 for Noel. There's a number of ways that can rotate, but you look at these bigs and, Naz Reid is just straight out backing up Karl Anthony Towns, and he's questionable. So Naz Reid, if he ends up being out, there's a lot of paths for Jared Vanderbilt to get extra minutes. So just be paying attention to that news. That's why you watch the Deeper Dive in Live Before Lock. So you can get that news. That game locks at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Should know by then what we need to be doing with some of that value. Let's head on over to FanDuel here on the top end. Going to be, I'm stuck on the Golden State. There we go. James Harden's 10-4 if you want to play him at small forward. LeBron is 10-2. That is too cheap. I'm going to play lots of him. Zero Dark 30. Put the Instagram away. Save it for another day. That's what he should do. Go lay by the bay, eat some hay. What do you say? It's Happy Gilmore. Sorry. DeMar DeRozan, 9,600. Jimmy Butler, 8K. That is so cheap to look at over on FanDuel. Oh, God, I'm already nervous. Against Houston, we're going to play 3/4 of Jimmy Butler. This is going to be uncomfortable. Talk to me about forward on FanDuel, Ryan.
Yeah, forward on FanDuel. Obviously, there is both Harden and James Harden. Harden and LeBron James. 10-4, 10-2.
Sorry,
so,
you're good.
That caught my tongue there, but 10-4, 10-2. That makes a ton of sense to spend up. There's enough value to jam both of those guys in. And the next tier of guys, I mean, looking down, DeRozan's expensive, I think, at 9,600. Bam Adebayo at 9,500. Going to be low owned against Houston. Low owned against Houston can definitely work out for you. Sabonis, 9K. Against the New York Knicks team, Sabonis should eat. Going down a bit lower, I think Julius Randle looks outstanding at $8,400. As Christian Wood's priced appropriately. Jimmy Butler's too cheap, like you said. That's outstanding. 50-point upside against Houston's definitely on the table if Houston can make it a game. Going all the way down here, someone from Golden State's going to get there. Kuminga's 4,600. Otto Porter's 4,100. Both are phenomenal options, as is the likes of Malik Beasley at 3,600. Otto Porter, Evan Fournier sub 5K. Eubanks been playing well, 4K. I think is fine to go to. Tough cat spot, but minutes are minutes, and Eubanks has found a way to get there in various ways.
Jared Allen won't return. That's painful and hurts me because I played lots of him over the field, and I am going to just not give you any analysis on FanDuel as a result. No, I won't do that. I'll just throw out my one. Yeah, you said Kevon Looney if he plays there. Şengün if he gets minutes. Miami could definitely. Houston on a back-to-back here. Let's just say that Eric Gordon will not play. I'm just going to throw that in immediately here. And that kind of has a ripple effect throughout the entire position where you can take shots. Obviously, Christian Wood has a zillion fantasy points tonight. You can roster him. Jayshawn Tate. Şengün, though, 4,600 always would be fun if we could get some extra run from him. We'll see what happens with this Houston team on a back-to-back. But maybe they were just resting Schroeder. Maybe he was closer to playing today, and then one of the other guys doesn't play, and then it's kind of a moot point. But, just be on the lookout of news. How about that for analysis? That's my other thing, is that you should be apprised of news if you're playing NBA DFS. That's my hot take for the day. To the forward spot we go. Top end on Yahoo. LeBron is $53. You pay up for nice things on Yahoo. I like that. That's the way it should be. DeMar DeRozan, 46. Randall, 37. But again, we've got so much value down here a little bit further. Justice Winslow, it sounds like, will not be playing basketball. Once again, that's going to open up more stuff for all the likes of these Portland guys up and down the lineup here at the forward position. That becomes everybody we've talked about. But Elijah Hughes, $10, probably going to get the start, probably going to be my favorite. Greg Brown, you said you didn't know if he plays or not. We shall find out. Jaden McDaniels, $13. Quick little shout out. But Josh Hart, $27. Small forward. Very curious to see what that rostership ends up being, because they're going to be massive, massive dogs here. They're going to have two massive dogs in Houston and Portland on this slate. I mean, this could be the highest Minnesota's been favored in a basketball game since I've been alive tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it. Talk to me. By the way, bet Portland is what I'm getting at. Talk to me about the forward spot on Yahoo, Ryan.
Yeah, LeBron James up top, 53. Looks outstanding. There's enough value to get him in there. You can save a lot off of him if you don't want to. There's DeRozan, there's Randall, and there's Butler. Butler, 36, looks great against Houston. Josh Hart, 27, looks amazing as well, just because of how many shots he's going to take. Now, all the way bottom, there's some guys here. There's Alec Burks at 16. Kuminga's 18. Bjelica is going to play a decent one, I think. He's also $10. But it's not as loaded of a position elsewhere with value. These guys are priced appropriately. Like Moses Moody's up to 13 here. Jeremy Grant is 23, as is Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is going to have a good game at some point. He's just going to be able to knock down 5-6 threes in a game, and he'll find a way to get there. He's $23. I think it's just buying low on him.
That's the fastest that's ever gone. We're going to fly through this slate, and there's a ton of value, but also news is going to be everywhere. We're going to be able to have a glorified pick 'em, and you know why that's a good thing, Ryan? This center position on DraftKings, Nikola Jokic, 12-6, Ching, Joel Embiid, 12K against Chicago and Vooch defense, cha-ching. Karl Anthony Towns against the likes of Greg Eubanks and Trent Wofford and maybe Greg Brown, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Domantas Sabonis against the Knicks, less enticing. But you know what? Bam Adebayo, 8,700. That's way too cheap in this matchup as well. God, there are some studs at center. I have a feeling we will not be trying to play value down there at the bottom of the center position because these guys up top, play them all. Talk to me about them, Ryan.
Yeah, it's enough value to jam in the likes of Jokic, Embiid, Cat, Sabonis, and Gobert. Adebayo all look phenomenal. I really like Gobert at 7.9. Vooch is out at 8,600 against Embiid. Thompson might be forced into a ton of minutes. Thompson's not that exciting to go to fantasy purposes, but if you're looking for value purposes, he's there. $6,400 Capella is not crazy, but it's loaded. You can, because of the value that there is in other positions, you can get any of these guys in. I think Kevon Looney's going to play tomorrow. He's going to be out there as long as he can stay out of foul trouble versus Jokic, which he's done a decent job in the past. So he's cheap at 4,100, but I don't like rostering Kevon Looney, but you never know. With all so many guys out, he might be the lead usage guy on the team.
It's absurd. It's going to be a weird slate. Yeah, if you want to play some Toscano Anderson, shout out Greg Toscano Anderberg. I screwed up his name. Greg Toscano Anderberg. That's the bit. That's what we were going for. That's why we're not paying down there. We are paying up for Jokic and Embiid on DraftKings.com. Joel Embiid, 10-9 over on the center position on FanDuel. More expensive, $100 more than Nikola Jokic against nobody. I will say, maybe Jokic doesn't plan a back-to-back because, again, they're not traveling with Clay. They're not traveling with Steph. They're not traveling with Andrew Wiggins. And if you're going to just have a punt game, I mean, maybe they just have Jokic out there to get it, be the freebie that you would assume it would be for them to win. But Boogie Cousins, that worked out well on Friday. Just throwing it out there to everybody. That was an enjoyable day. Joel Embiid, yeah, he's going to be lower on, I would assume, than Nikola Jokic, though, in that same spot. With Harden back, bam, 9,500, but power forward eligible, play him there. Karl Anthony Towns, 9,200, is woefully underpriced there, especially if you get no Anthony Edwards and such. Jakob Poeltl, 7,900. If you get no DeJounte Murray and Devin Vassell and the likes of those guys, he will be the guy that they play through, which is crazy to say out loud. And then 6,200 Clint Capella. I don't want to do it. Nah, I'm just not going to do it. Talk to me about the center position on FanDuel.
Yeah, Jokic getting him at 10.8. He could get there in 2.5 quarters against this depleted Golden State team. Getting his $100 off of Embiid. Embiid playing the court with Harden tomorrow. Can Embiid get there? Yeah, definitely, but it's a little more difficult when Harden's on the court with him. Cat 9,200, I love at $9,200. He had a monster game yesterday. I think he put up 70 fantasy points against this Portland team, so why not run it back with Cat? Julius Randle, 8,400, has center eligibility. No issues going there. Eubanks all the way at the bottom. Power forward and center eligibility will be popular, but makes a ton of sense to go down there. Capella, 6,200. It's pretty solid. Adebayo is expensive, but we touched on him that he could find a way to just get there at $9,500 against Houston. Tristan Thompson, power forward center eligibility. If there is no Vooch, he'll be pressed into as many minutes before falling out at $3,600. There's better value elsewhere, but if you're looking for a guy who might play 30-plus minutes if Vooch is out, you can definitely go to him. If Vooch isn't play, if he's going to be active and starting at 8K. I think that's a pretty solid Vooch price tag to go to at $8,000.
All right, late slate update. Bones Highland, 14.9 on FanDuel. One-time dealer. Bones Highland just beat Monty Morris on FanDuel. That's all that I ask from the gods. Also, let's round out this lovely Slate Starter podcast with the center position on our sponsor, Yahoo. $56 for Jokic, Embiid $53, Karl Anthony Towns $43, Gobert $37, Sabonis $37. We get some disparity here, but Bam $36. I just want to be spending up at center. The guy that I would play, I mean, Christian Wood is going completely bonkers right now, which is nice to see here, absent Schroeder and such. But Jakob Poeltl, $29. I legitimately don't think that unless you got some crazy news like Jokic out and then you can roster Cousins or, I don't even know what else. Gobert out, you could play Hassan Whiteside. If I got something like that, of course, I'd go under $29. But legitimately, if they're not out, do not do it because there's just such ceilings here at the top end of center. Who are your favorite guys to round out our show, Ryan?
Looking up at center, double center slate could be on the table with all the value that we have. It's expensive to pay for Jokic and Embiid, but Cat at 43 makes a ton of sense. Sabonis is 37. I like it a lot at $37. Makes a ton of sense. And so is Gobert, $37 where you get the block upside. Caperto has been playing well. It's a Lakers spot. Yeah, with all these guys out, he could do a decent job. Looking a bit lower here. Christian Wood is playing really well today. Maybe he'll get some recency bias ownership built in. But no real reason to spend down outside of Eubanks at 12. That's really about it if you're looking to pay for anyone cheap, because the spend up is so nice and there's value elsewhere.
Look at that. The most concise NBA Slate Starter podcast in the history of the world. That is for sure. It was beautiful. We got there. Pay attention to news, my God. And also Shay's up to 58. He is a beautiful thing. Ryan, any final words for the people as we get out of here tonight?
Yeah, leave that 5-star review on the Apple. Yes. If we get to 50 this week, that'd be phenomenal. That'd be great. 50 5-star reviews would be awesome. I think we're in the low 40s. So for those who are new to the show, welcome. For those who've been listening for a long time, thank you. And good luck, everyone.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys listening per usual. Hit that like button too on YouTube. Make us look nice. He's Ryan. He's very well lit and nice. I'm Eric. I'm just tired. We'll see you guys later.